Hi, I'm Darlene Carman, and welcome to the show. Since 2009, Animal-Assisted Happiness has brought children and farm animals together, either with visiting mobiles or by hosting barnyard interactions at the farm in Sunnyvale. The idea is to provide soothing comfort and bring smiles to children struggling with all kinds of needs. We are pleased to have Assistant Program Manager Nick Coleman here with some volunteers and residents of the farm. Hey, welcome to the show. Nice to have you all here. Now, Nick, you've been with the program for about 10 years now. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good. So tell us how you got started and what kind of jobs have you held?
So I got started probably, like 10 years ago. And it was initially because one of my brothers has special needs, actually both my brothers, and they were going to the farm for services. So I was not very useful as a volunteer back then. I was pretty young. But after being at the farm, my brothers kind of like moved on, they became a little bit more independent, raised some animals of their own, and now they're back at the farm, the animals he raised. So I've been volunteering throughout that time, and as time's passed, I've become more involved, and now I'm actually the one taking the animals out on visits with Simone. So it's kind of a full circle kind of thing going on.
Yeah, caretaking, and you've done that. And
yeah, caretaking.
You're manager now,
yeah,
and you help with the youth program and so forth.
Yeah. So I do caretaking for the farm, like trimming hooves and things like that, sometimes administering medication. I also am one of the leaders of our Youth Ambassador project, which is kind of bringing the youth even more involved than they already are.
And you're in college, too.
Yeah, I go to Foothill College.
Wow, you're a little bit busy there.
A little bit.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce some of your other guests here?
Yeah, so we have Sophie and Naomi here. They're pretty frequent volunteers at the farm. And then as far as the animals go, right here we have Guava and Coco right here. She's a rabbit chicken. You can hold her up a little bit so we can see a little better.
Oh.
Yeah, she's super cool.
So how old are they? How long they've been around?
Guava here is actually a relatively new animal. She's been at the farm for less than a year. She was born last year at the farm, actually. So first generation rabbit right here. And then Coco has been with us for a couple sites. I think Coco's around 3 years old.
Very calm, very well behaved. I see. So they're used to being around children and all that. So it's like.
Yeah, this is exactly what they do. We bring them into the classrooms, we put them on the desk, put them in people's laps. So this is
they're used to this.
Yeah, this is how they spend their time. They're perfectly comfortable doing it.
Well, connecting children with special needs and horse therapy has been very successful. But I must say that barnyard animals helping children is kind of new. So can you tell me how this idea might have evolved?
Yeah, so kind of on the idea of horse therapy, the first visit that I did was with one of the founder's horses, the founder, Vicky. She had her miniature horse Lollipop go up some stairs, which horses don't like, by the way, and to visit a child, Riley, who had brain cancer. And this was before the program was a thing, before we were doing animal therapy. This is just one of Vicky's personal animals. And after seeing the smiles on Riley's face, she kind of knew that she wanted to do more with these animals that she had. So that's kind of where we originated from, the kind of idea of horse therapy.
And if I understand correctly, she had, I think it was like 7 of her own animals. Now you have a lot more.
Yeah, we have a very significant amount. Yeah, originally it was just some of the miniature horses, miniature donkeys, some of the goats from one of her daughters in 4-H, raising these guys. This is actually one of the goats, Basil here, who was part of one of the litters her daughter did in 4-H. So this is a long-term animal. This is relatively new. Nice contrast there, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have to ask, what qualities do barnyard animals have that surpass maybe pets, like common pets like dogs and cats that kids have?
One thing I've personally noticed, these animals are a lot less intimidating than dogs because, you know, dogs are, they have big teeth, you know, some kids are scared, they bark.
Yes.
These guys are really quiet, as you can see, you know,
Yes.
they're prey animals, you know, they're naturally kind of submissive. But more than that, the reason why we picked barnyard animals is because kids these days, especially kids with special needs, are never going to see a goat, a horse, a donkey, or an alpaca in their normal day-to-day lives. You know, that's
true.
just not going to happen.
Well, are they frightened of them when they see them? Are they timid? Or they just, do you have to calm them down as far as not being too rough with the animals? How do you handle that?
It really depends kid to kid. Some kids will visit the farm, you know, 5+ times before they'll touch one of the animals, and then, you know, the 5th or 6th time they'll like touch the horse and it'll be their favorite animal. They'll come right up to it next time. Sometimes when we're on visits, especially with some of the special needs kids, when they get excited, they tend to get a little grabby sometimes. So it's more, sometimes you have to protect the animals a little bit. You know, they get excited, they can't control themselves. But the animals are all very used to being touched. They don't shrink away from you or anything like that.
It's amazing.
So yeah, every kid kind of deals with their first interaction differently. Yeah.
So who else do we have, John?
I briefly mentioned Basil here. Basil's one of the first goats.
Now, how old is Basil?
She's I think 12 years old. I'm not sure on the exact age, but she's
So she's full grown.
she's an old,
she's
yeah,
like
she's a Nigerian dwarf goat. So this is as big as she's gonna get. She might shrink a little bit, you know how old animals are, you know.
But now she's calm, but you do have other goats that are not quite as calm as she is.
Yeah, we actually recently got some baby goats, Nigerian dwarf goats, all it's the same breed, but they're pretty rambunctious right now. They're probably about 4 months old, and we do take them on visits together. You know, they're small, they like to ride together in the van. So
Where did you get the goats, the new ones?
that's a. Let's see, Simone, she's the program manager, her daughter's fiance's parents' goat and oyster farm, sorry. Yeah,
wow.
yes,
Wow.
it's an interesting connection there.
Yes.
But yeah, kind of like on that topic, we get a lot of our animals through either rescues or donations.
Yes.
Like we have some potbelly pigs from a potbelly rescue, and we rescue all the animals that we can because they fit our needs very well.
Of course. Well, you have quite an assortment. Did we talk about these guys?
Oh, so these two are guinea pigs. This is Peanut and this is Bean. They're sisters.
Aw.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. A lot of the kids really like these guys. They're the smallest and like least intimidating. You know,
Definitely.
some kids are, even this can be too large for some children.
Yes, some kids are definitely frightened of even dogs and cats. So, of course, something that they don't see very often. Show me a spider, and I don't care how friendly it is. I'm not real keen on spiders.
Exactly.
Well, we have some pictures of kids, so we would like to see the kids enjoying the animals.
So this right here is Jeffrey, and the horse next to Jeffrey is Hope. She's a miniature horse, by the way. We've brought the animals to Jeffrey at Mountain View High School several times. He really loves the animals. And I think this was one of his first visits to the farm. So he's actually walking the horse, you can see here, which is, it's really a nice experience. He's a long-time client of ours, so Jeffrey's awesome.
Wow.
We can see the next one. This right here is Melody. Melody's actually Basil's sister and another one of the really, really older goats at our farm that kind of started the program. These little goats are perfect size to go in the minivan over to the visits and such. Really, really mobile. They're just really awesome goats. Yeah, we can go over to the next one. This is Rita and Mr. Q. This is actually the same class Jeffrey's from. Mr. Q is one of the teachers for the special needs class at Mountain View High School. Yeah, we visit Mountain View all the time. I actually used to ask my teachers, I would do my schoolwork the day before so I could leave class and visit when Simone brought the animals to my school. So I went to Mountain View High School. So Mr. Q, awesome teacher. He brings the kids to the school, to the farm for vocational visits, all kinds of stuff. Next. This rabbit right here is actually pretty interesting. This is Spencer. I don't know the child because I didn't do that specific visit. I think Simone did that one. But this rabbit here is named Spencer. We actually found him at the farm. I think someone dropped him off after Easter.
No.
Yeah, so I spent a long time catching him. And yeah, ever since he's been going on visits with us. He's a big cuddly bear, as you can see. And yeah, we love all the animals at the farm, including the ones, the happy accidents.
Oh, that's neat. Well, can you describe for us, like, what a typical visit to a school would be like? So
a typical visit to the school would include all the animals you see here. We bring the rabbits, anything that fits in the car. Well, we have bigger animals, but you know the horses, the large goats don't fit in the car. So these are the exact animals we like to bring to the schools. So
not in the classroom necessarily, right?
A lot of the time we bring them into the classroom.
Sure.
So yeah, the goats will sometimes sit outside, but as you can see, the floor is pretty clean still. Yeah, so we bring them in. Kids will hold the animals like this, you know, hold them like a taco. All the animals are used to being held. They're pretty resilient, you know. They're not going to shrink away from you, like I said. So we bring them into the classroom, set them up on the desks. We'll have the kids in the classroom come in, hold them, and a lot of times other classrooms from the school will, you know, swing by just to say hi to the animals.
Yes.
Yeah, and
how long do you stay? A visit's like how long?
Typically an hour.
An hour?
We do longer visits, but an hour is just a good amount of time for the kids because we vary in numbers a lot. Sometimes we'll have a visit with 3 kids, and sometimes we'll have a visit with 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you don't charge for this?
No. For people in need, we provide all our services free. We bring the animals to the schools. We do private visits as well. Kids with special needs will come with their parents to the farm and get a chance to see the animals.
But doing a little research on your website and testimonials and reading things like that, this thing with needs, what I like to find out is that, I mean, you'll do like private things, like let's say there's a death in the family or a divorce or something like that. So there are other circumstances with children. It's not just children with needs exactly, because all children have needs.
Yeah. So we do like you said, it's anyone who's in need. We do a visit to senior centers. We do, like you said, if there's emotional distress is another big thing we do. It's for anyone who's in need. It doesn't specifically need to be special needs, and it doesn't have to be kids. We do a lot of post-secondary education, which are people with special needs who have surpassed 18 years old. You know, so we do regardless of age. It's just typically we're with kids.
I imagine some of the senior homes, I'm sure that they would love visits. I know they love dogs that come around and visit, you know. So let's get a feel for the farm. So the last I heard you had 65, but now you probably have more because of the goats you just covered. So how many animals and what are the grounds like?
So we probably have around 70 still. It would take me a while to count in my head. And we recently got new baby rabbits too. So we're probably pushing 70.
On how big's the grounds? It's Baylands, right?
Baylands Park. It's a little under 3 acres. So we have 4 large animal cages. We have for the larger goats. typical dairy breeds are closer to like this tall, around 180 pounds,
Wow.
which is, so we have the
More than me.
big goats. Then we have the smaller goats, these little guys in a cage on their own, and then we have the pigs, miniature horses, alpaca. So we have all those guys separated in the front of the farm. And then on the other side of our farm, past some of our trees, we have a rabbit village kind of thing. And the whole word to go along with the farm is whimsical. We want everything to be whimsical. It should be a place where kids can kind of just enjoy themselves, not worry about anything. So everything is very vibrant and colorful. We have our village of rabbit hutches around. We have a gated chicken pen for the chickens to run around in while kids are there.
I bet you lose animals once in a while. I can't find them for a while. I bet you do. I bet you do. And so people could actually visit a few. I think on the website it tells where people can come certain times that they can visit.
So we do scheduled visits all the time, but due to our high dependence on volunteers, we're not open to the public all the time.
Right.
We're open Tuesday afternoons from, I think it's 1 to 4, 1 to 5, can't remember quite. And then the second Sunday of the month from 10 to 4. And those are times we're just open to the public. People can walk in and
That's nice.
check it out.
That's really, I'd like to get there. We have a video now to show. Do you know who produced the video?
2 students from Freestyle Academy who were volunteers actually reached out to us wanting to produce this. So it's a really awesome video. And
let's see it.
Just the looks on my kids' faces every time we pull up here or every time they see the next animal, like they can't even stop their visit with this animal before they want to move on to this one, and then they want to come back, and they're just so excited. Everything about this is fantastic.
The goal of animal-assisted happiness is to create smiles, and create smiles in particular with special needs children who are medically fragile. A lot of times these children don't interact with humans or people that well, but they will with an animal. And if we can create a smile with someone that's not being able to interact with the bigger world, that means everything to us.
We were started to help kids with need experience smiles that only animals can bring. The idea for animal-assisted happiness came from an interaction that our miniature horse Lollipop had with a little girl named Riley. Riley had brain cancer and couldn't leave her home anymore and was confined to a wheelchair. And some of her friends asked if they could borrow our miniature horse Lollipop to take to go see Riley in the house. Lollipop went in the front door, up the steps in the front door, onto tarp in her living room, and stayed about an hour and a half with Riley, and there were a lot of smiles that were created by Riley through her interaction with Lollipop.
I am a parent of 2 children that have been coming here for about 4 years now. Lollipop is the name that I constantly hear all the time. Mom, do you know about Lollipop? How's Lollipop doing? And it's usually when they start asking about Lollipop that we schedule a visit.
She's our inspiration, and Riley, who passed away about a month after her visit with Lollipop, is our angel. Animals are kind, animals do not judge, they don't ask for anything back. For us, it was about creating a place that could be a destination, sanctuary, inclusive location where people could interact with animals.
It's amazing to see how kids react to animals. So I've got the best of both worlds.
So my kids are very hyper. They have a lot of energy. They both have ADHD, and so I find that this is one of those places where they really, really try hard to keep it calm and keep it mellow. And it is really hard work for them to do, and this is the most inspiring place for them to do that at because they want to come here so bad.
The kids that we see, especially the kids with trauma, and we're putting a bunny on their bed, and some of the kids are just a lot calmer after that. A kid that was shot in a gang, he will open his hand the minute I come in with an animal.
I also had a private child who visits me at the farm, and he's a nonverbal autistic child who is very afraid of animals. And he came here, and on his third visit, he bonded with one of our goats, and he looks forward to seeing him, and he walks him and hugs him, and surprised his mother where his leash was all kind of tangled up in his feet. And I said, "You're going to have to help Moose get out of that mess." And he reached over and he problem solved and got the leash undone, and his mom was, "I've never seen him do something like that before."
The other thing I can definitely see is when kids come to the farm and they have an hour where it's just them and the animals, nobody's asking anything of them. No one's asking them to do anything physical or mental. They just get to be, and the animal is there to help them just be.
I was so excited when I found this. I was immediately on email and on the phone like, "Hey, okay, how do I get in there? What do I have to do?" I used to drive I think it was 45 minutes from where we lived to where they used to be when I first found it. And I did it all the time. I could not wait to get there. I had just as much fun as the kids did, definitely. And we've been hooked ever since.
For me, the reason animal-assisted happiness is so important in today's society is that we've gotten so, especially in the Silicon Valley, so enamored by technology that getting outside and just playing, or getting outside and doing chores, or getting outside and interacting with other people who are not quite like you doesn't happen enough, in my opinion. And our animals are the bridge for that.
I think in today's world, animal-assisted happiness brings reality in some ways to a very busy, hectic techno world. There's nothing more basic than an animal. There's nothing more real and rural.
Without animal-assisted happiness, my kids wouldn't have any interaction with these animals. So for single moms like me, it's nice to have this place to kind of help make that happen.
For me, it just reinforces health. It reinforces getting away from technology. It reinforces downtime. And it really goes more to just get outside and play.
I think our friend here is waking up now. I've been hearing some sounds, and I don't know what's going on, but it's like, is this happy sound, or is that a...
She's just stretching her legs, you know, sitting in the bed for a long time.
Yeah, stretching the... Well, hey, I'm with you. What would you say the favorite animal is? Is there a favorite, can you tell?
It really depends kid to kid, because, you know, some kids will go to the farm, and they have a lot of sensory issues, and they don't even touch the animals, you know. We have you know, the chickens for them to run around with. We have the doves in the dove cage for them to just watch and listen to. And some kids just enjoy being at the farm, and
I think that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I love the way children have always been a part of this farm the minute it opens. So tell us the way some of the children help out in the youth programs.
Yeah. So first, we have our Youth Ambassador project, which is kind of the volunteers that are doing the most hours, you know, spending the most time at the farm. Actually, Sophia is one of them, if you want to kind of talk about what we do.
Well, the Ambassador program is a great opportunity for teenagers like myself to just get involved with animals and help bridge the community and animals and bring them together. Like he said, we're mostly the people who spend a lot of time volunteering at the farm, and together we just discuss issues and how to fix them, and we discuss possible improvements to just make the farm a better place.
Very nice, very nice. And what do you do? It's like you've helped out before. You've built things, right?
Yeah. So I'm a volunteer, youth ambassador, but I'm also part of a Girl Scout troop, and right now we're working on our Silver Awards badge, and we're gonna help build a wheelbarrow shed and like some new steps for the mini goats.
Very nice. And you're like 13, right?
Yeah.
And you're like 15. Very nice to see you so involved in what you're doing. So you started at an early age then, volunteering and helping out.
I
right?
started quite recently.
Oh, recently?
Yeah.
Recently, oh. So do you want to grow up and work in this kind of field maybe, or it's too early to tell yet?
A little too early to tell.
How about you? You're in college? What
Yeah,
are you?
I'm in college. I'm actually studying electrical engineering right now.
There you go.
Which is pretty unrelated to
There
all
you
this
go.
business, but
Absolutely.
this is just something I do purely because I enjoy it, you know.
You got a fundraiser coming up.
Yeah, we have our yearly fundraiser May 19th. There's more info's on the website, but yeah, we have our fundraiser coming up.
Yeah, I think it's a dinner and so forth, and
Yeah.
and people can check that out because it is something where you're not charging, so you do depend on donations and so forth. So
Yeah.
it's a nice thing.
Yeah,
It's a nice thing to keep it going because you've been around. Let's see, what did I say? 2009.
Yeah.
You got a long ways to go, right?
Yeah, we're a pretty lean nonprofit, so we rely a lot on our volunteers to get things done around the farm, and
How many volunteers do you have totally? About?
I'm not sure the exact number. It's
About?
definitely 4 digits. But so far we have accumulated about 30,000 volunteer hours over our time. You know. Yeah, I don't have a good number, but
Quite a lot.
about 30,000 volunteer
And
hours.
I imagine they come and they help out for a while, and then of course I know school is so busy, and then but it's a nice way to at least be exposed because I know at your age I wasn't exposed to anything that you didn't eat. So it's really nice to see how they really would look like, other than a supermarket. So I just want to thank you all for being here, and I want to make sure that everyone knows about the details on the website because that's where they can find out when they can visit. And it's Baylands, which is on
Baylands Park, which is on Caribbean Drive.
Oh, yes.
It's right. If you go down Lawrence Expressway, it's right over 237, right where Lawrence turns into Caribbean Drive.
Right. So it's very close. I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for watching the show. Please watch again and check the website for more details. Thank you.